Hey everybody, this is Tim Reha reporting here for Surf TV. We're down in Seattle. First guest today is Steve Seow, who's a technical evangelist for Microsoft. Steve.
Hi everybody.
So what I love about Steve is he hosts a number of technical training sessions. So we've had a first peek at Windows 8 here at Surf, and you use this space right here.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
To host the event. So first of all, where are you from and what's your background?
So I'm originally from Singapore, and today I work for Microsoft. And I started with Microsoft as a user researcher with various teams. I started off with Visual Studio, and then off to Microsoft Surface, and then or Pixel Sense as we call it today, and then off to Xbox. So I'm very familiar with the
Pixel Sense and
and all that good stuff before I became a technical evangelist.
Yeah, and Microsoft has a lot of stuff that's really kind of rolling out this year. It's a huge play. It's a big battlefield out there, and a lot of exciting things are happening. I know from working with Claire Lee at the Microsoft BizSpark program down in Silicon Valley with the big whole startup weekend, mega startup weekend. There's lots of fun. And you've been hosting what events here?
So we recently completed a program called 30 to Launch to get people to get the apps into the store in 30 days.
Oh, cool.
So it's a month-long course. Every Wednesday I'll meet up with the folks here and we'll talk about various fundamental topics on developing your very first Metro-style app to run on Windows 8.
And what kind of cool things is the BizSpark program doing to support technology companies?
Sure. So you can think of BizSpark in three ways. One is definitely the software, right? We give access to most of our software for free to the startups for 3 years. And the second thing that some people may not know about is the network opportunities that we open up for startups.
Yeah.
So I like to think of it as playing the role of a matchmaker. So there may be times where there's another startup that I know of that may want to collaborate with another startup in this program. So we try to bridge that conversation, and sometimes it could be between a startup and a bigger company, or a startup or an angel investor, or other programs. And the third thing that's really prominent in the program that's really useful is the visibility that we can help startups get. One of the great example is SEO Mars. What we did was we sat down with them and realized that hey, these guys offer services that the BizSpark companies can consume.
Yeah.
So what we did was we featured them on our BizSpark portal and turned their services inward for a discount. So that sort of opportunities and many other opportunities is what we do, is available.
Yeah, and SEO Moz just had a big MozCon here last week.
Yeah.
Had a friend from Australia come in. So you travel around as well, West Coast. What do you do and what's coming up, or where have you been recently?
So my responsibilities as a startup evangelist runs anywhere Colorado and West.
Okay.
So I make trips to Arizona, to Utah, to Las Vegas, and so what I do is I go there and I connect with the startups and the institutions that empower these startups, and to see how we can help.
Cool. In looking at Seattle, now that you've traveled around from Silicon Valley out to Colorado, Boulder, what's your 5-year forecast or kind of outlook for the Seattle tech space startup?
The outlook is really good. So I have the luxury of sampling different startup communities in the West Coast, and we all know that the West Coast is a hotbed for startups and entrepreneurs. And to me, I like to sample the community in terms of what elements are in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And the Seattle clearly has set the bar. Right, we have incubators like Surf. Right, we have a vibrant startup community. We have very creative people, and then we are right here in the Pacific Northwest where Microsoft is. Yeah. So and the outlook is for Seattle is tremendous. I mean, I've heard of people who are very excited about coming up here to start a business and bring their business and bring their startups to the next level.
So what have you seen positive for the startup community that Surf is doing, and what would you add to that?
Well, I've been hearing a couple of great things about Surf, and one of the key things is that it seemed to be the place to be, right? It reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where George's father set up his old room as the place to be where they can play pool, and this is like the place to be because there's a concentration of talents here, and to add to that, Seattle is a great location, right? And this is a classy joint, it's a great location, and the talents that Seton and Surf is attracting to this place right here is incredible. And if you look at it as an ecosystem, it's like an organism, if you will. There are incubators, and then there are incubators that will have incubators housed in them. And Surf has gone up to that level where you have an incubator program inside of an incubator. And that is something I have not seen.
Yeah, it's fun. There's a ton of resources. I've seen your events here. We've seen Poker 2.0, just a number of different things cooking. Okay, so what's next up for you?
Next up is to get more Windows 8 event up here. We did it, and we did it here last month, and we hear from the attendees that they want more. They want to learn more. How can they learn more? Can we meet again next Wednesday? And so we're gonna think about how to do more of those events and help these startups tap into the huge Windows 8 ecosystem.
So everybody out here who wants to tap into you a little bit more, what's the direct route?
The direct route is to send me an email or a tweet. My name is, it's SSEOW@Microsoft.com. Or my tweet handle is Steve Seow, SEOW.
What about the BizSpark link?
You can definitely find us on Twitter as well, or you can go to BizSpark.com. That's where you can find us and more information.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Steve, for being on Surf TV.
Thank you. Thank you very much.